Blue Vortex. I think that we said it before.
Yeah,
but I think
but Saran, if they don't start with Code's invasion, it won't be hype.
I love how
It
you
won't
say
be True Blue Vortex. You know,
Bro,
the brand new series by Masashi Kishimoto. It's only written by Masashi Kishimoto, and not a single other person is writing it. It's hype.
You know what? You're correct. You're correct.
Of course, I have a Twitter poster.
I guess we just have to wait for the anime.
Oh, punch
yeah, for the anime to fix it. You mean?
Oh.
Guess we'll just have to wait for the anime to see Sakura.
That's a job
and
right
the other
there.
shinobi, and what they're doing. And for
I love how Sakura just doesn't care about her alleged traitor husband.
I love how Sakura just doesn't care that
that the village is being invaded. Girl's just like, I don't care. Let me go back to my nap.
Does Sakura not vouch for her daughter?
That's what I'm saying, bro.
And that
or Sasuke?
Does Sakura not believe her daughter? Why does she not vouch for
Does Sakura care that
is
Naruto is allegedly dead?
Bro, this is what I mean. When I joke about these characters, bro, I've joked about these characters being dead before, and like other discords, and people are like, no, and I'm like, bro, they have to be dead. It doesn't make sense if they're alive.
You know what? Actually, Sakura will be the new Shinju. There's the plot twist.
That's the thing,
like,
bro.
I mean this.
Freaking Choza is the one freaking protecting Choji in the pain. Okay, these parents aren't just gonna let their children die. Sakura's been in multiple life and death situations within the village that she just doesn't need to be in. Sakura's letting her daughter die if Boruto doesn't show up.
Bro,
here's the thing. I understand in part one, they don't want the old generation to take over and do everything, blah, 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 blah. Now they have a threat that it doesn't matter. Get Coats in his army strong enough. Just have them there fighting to protect their children, just so we, like, know they're okay and that they're doing things that make sense. They don't need to be integral to the story, but just have them fight the clock grind so you know they're not dead.
This is what I mean. This will never not be an issue within the story. I don't care what anyone says. All the excuses and explanations are brain dead and stupid. They make no freaking sense. You destroy these characters by not including them or giving reasons why they're not here. In freaking part
That's
one
the big
of
one. Giving reasons why they're not there.
In Naruto, we had the parents show up several times. I think 2 to 3 times. And it was
take
all
spotlight away from Naruto's generation.
Bro, all they had to do is have Shikamaru say the same thing Tsunade said in the Sasuke retrieval arc. Oh, because of our Kokage situation, we gotta make our village look good. So I have all the old gen, you know, Sakura and the others are on missions. Yeah. Maybe they're the ones looking for Boruto.
It would be extremely convenient that all of them are out at this moment, but it's better. It's better. Yeah. It's just better.
Just say that they're the ones that were tasked with finding Boruto. Like, they are the assassination squad. We sent our best men to look for him, and they're all gone because, you know, Boruto came here instead.
Yeah, if Kishimoto's the one writing it, why isn't it being consistently Kishimoto? In the pain arc, people are out of the village. He's writing them out. In, again, Sasuke Retrieval, the geopolitical situation, they're fixing that. We're not even getting that in the first place in Boruto.
You know what? That doesn't exist. Let's do the side tangent. We've been holding off this Kishimoto thing. Let's just do it now while we're on our topic.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it's just frustrating to me. It just is. But the whole Sakura not being included, I get it. But like she should exist. She just should exist. I wonder if they'll ever address. Has Sakura ever vouched for her daughter? Does she even care about Sasuke's betrayal? Does she believe Sasuke's betrayal? Had Sakura never went like, oh, Shikamaru, my daughter's being freaking genuine. And I don't believe Naruto's dead. Like, this is like... I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. So, Kamui, I'm sharing the screen of the Reddit of the link that you want? Yeah. Okay. So is this title important, or do you just need me to click on the link?
Oh, actually, hold on. Did I have this? So the thing with hold I might have had another screenshot on my phone or my laptop. Let me look real quick. I have too many things I save. I had a thing from Organic Dinosaur I screenshotted because
this is perfect because we have Sauron.
She translated something.
Sauron's one of the people that believes Kishimoto is the one writing it, from what I understand.
No, so my take
is this in podcast topics right now?
It is.
So here's my take.
I'm just gonna add an extra image just for the Organic Dinosaur thing.
Explained it in full, but I think Kishimoto is writing synopsis, and then Ikemoto is the one writing the scripts and actualizing it into like a proper story.
Yeah,
I think Kishimoto is writing the synopsis or like the general points of where things are going. Ikemoto's writing the rest of the nuances.
Exactly. Or he's not writing the nuances at all.
It's a double team.
Yeah, exactly. So, for example, I think Kishimoto probably wrote Jura leaves at this point. Maybe he even includes because Bug tells him whatever. And then Ikemoto's going with that and not adding on top of it at all, which is how we get to situations like that we have now.
Yeah, like Kishimoto's like writing key plot points and whatnot. Yeah.
He's writing those brief synopsises, key plot points ever, and then Ikemoto's taking that and just implementing it as is, no change, no addition, brief as possible.
The reason why I say that this is the most likely case is because stuff like this has happened in the manga industry before. So this is just stuff that happens. Like a superior oversees someone who they used to work with or is working with currently, and they write the general parts of the story, and they have the person who's under them write the rest of it. This has happened before. This is very likely what it actually is. So when people say that Kishimoto isn't writing, I'm like, I definitely do think he is. You can see his influences in it, but I don't think that he's writing everything. I think Ikemoto is also quite involved. I just think that he doesn't seem to, he's not, he has problems.
He gives the concepts, and then it's up to Ikemoto.
I'll say a couple of things. So obviously that's one of the possibilities. Yeah. So first of all, the execution is one of the biggest things. Kishimoto can give whatever idea, what he can say. All right, we have this guy, Jura. He's a divine tree. He's going to have a character arc about identity. Here's some bullet points how we get there. But how you execute it is entirely what determines whether it's going to be good or bad. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Or
so you can give me the best idea, but if you execute it like shit, then it doesn't matter. But also, though, real quick, Oodie, we should backtrack.
Okay.
You on the other stream, you have it in a podcast topic still, translated how the creator supervisor thing. You have to scroll up wherever you put it. You had the Boruto chapter 13 like zoomed in. And you said that basically what it says is he's like editorial assistant, if I remember right, is how you phrased the translation. And I'm going to confirm that real quick before we continue.
Yes. The Gensaku Kanshu. Both of these. So I got it.
And that basically says he's an editorial assistant.
Here, I'll even pull it up exactly what it says.
Yeah, so let's do it live real quick.
Yeah, I already did it, but we'll just do it again. So Gensaku is the original work. And Kanshu. Is this it?
I haven't been looking at your screen the whole
Members
time.
of the audience. Yeah, he's just an audience.
One of these was okay. Here it is. Yeah,
supervising director, editorial supervisor, general editorship. Yeah,
I think the general is really where it's coming about.
Hold on.
Yeah. So his original role, the original role he had, which is where one of those Reddit posts was about, was that he was the editing director. Basically, he was an editor for the manga. He is still credited as the same thing now. You can't be the writer and your editor. You're just the writer in that case. There's no reason to just credit him as the supervisor if he's the writer. like he does. We'll get to the images, but like all of his other stories and every other manga that has a similar situation, it says story by when that's the case. Now, obviously, he's not the only writer.
He's crediting manga to Ikemoto as well.
So for all we know, though, Ikemoto is straight up like one of the main writers, and he's just being the editor. That's it.
Yeah.
Ikemoto doesn't have to do what he says necessarily. Granted, I think he does more than a basic editor, but like he probably gives the bullet points and stuff, but he's not the script writer.
Yeah.
He would just get the story by credit.
Yeah, so here's other versions. So there's other parts that say original story and supervision by Masashi Kishimoto, manga by Mikio Ikemoto. So original story, so I see that as original story concepts, original story plot lines, and then he oversees what Ikemoto does. That's how I see it. I do think Ikemoto is writing, but this is what they said, and you can see the tweet that I just put here. This is what they've said here. This alludes to Ikemoto being involved in the writing process because it says original story and then also supervision. So he's supervising something. He's not supervising his own story. He wrote the dang thing. So clearly he's supervising something. It's Ikemoto.
Yeah, exactly. So, and real quick, you must just show those images, Oodie.
Oh, I already have. Yeah, no, I've been
okay, because where is it? I went through some examples. It's not just the Death Note story by Oba, art by blank. It's also the sorry, what?
Let me pull those up really quick.
So that's something to come back to later.
I was gonna pull
that basically that's the whole what they originally said about the Kishimoto coming back thing. It doesn't say he's gonna be like the story writer, but anyway.
The only thing that ever bothers me when people talk about this is that a lot of people tend to go too far in one direction that says Kishimoto's not involved. Period. I think that's not true.
No, he is
involved.
The bare minimum is being the supervisor.
Yeah. Okay. So I got these 4 pictures pulled up here of the 4 different manga. So for the Death Note one, this is all from the same website. The Death Note one, it's story by Tsugumi.
This is
Oba.
Viz, by the way, guys.
Viz.
Official ass Viz.
So Death Note story by Tsugumi Oba, art by Takeshi Obota. We have Naruto, Sasuke story, the Uchiha and the Heavenly Stardust, the manga. This is Sasuke Retsuden. Story by Masashi Kishimoto and Jun Esaka. Art by Shingo Kimura. Okay, we got story and we got art. Samurai 8, The Tale of Hachimaru. Story by Masashi Kishimoto. Art by Akira Okuba. Let's go to the Viz for Boruto 2 Blue Vortex. We don't have art in story. We have creator/supervisor. Masashi Kishimoto, art by Mikio Ikemoto. Do you notice the difference? Story, art. Story, art. Story, art. Creator/supervisor, art.
So the odd part about this is that these credits are bizarre because they don't name a writer, period. They don't credit Ikemoto, they don't credit Kishimoto, so that would allude that no one's writing it.
Well, but here's the thing, because we've already compiled this. So I don't know where you put this, Kamui. In fact, I think this is in our DMs, unfortunately. I don't know if you posted this anywhere here, but
tell me and I'll try to see if I can find it.
Back when Kodachi was the writer, confirmed, back in the first 50-something chapters of Boruto, it had this same thing. It had creator/supervisor, Masashi Kishimoto, art, Mikio Ikemoto. It had the third thing of screenwriter by Kodachi.
Yeah. It was in our DMs. I just pulled up a chapter cover.
You don't need to go look for it. That's true.
It's in all of them. In all of them, it says script, or in the Japanese-ish screenwriter. Like the point is script writer, whatever you want to say, Kodachi. It specified him, and all they've done is they removed Kodachi. And in the tweet by Organic Dinosaur, where she translates it, they're saying, blah, 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 it was in accordance to our plans. I don't know about that. Arranged since the beginning. That's cap. But Kodachi served as the scriptwriter up until now. And now the serialization will be based upon Masashi Kishimoto sensei's original drafts. It doesn't say that Masashi Kishimoto is the new scriptwriter. It's the same tweet from the editorial department. You know, the editorial department that Kishimoto was in charge of? Instead, it uses a different word. Scriptwriter, original drafts. That implies there is a difference in this role. He didn't just take Kodachi's role.
Yeah.
Someone else did.
This right here.
Unless Kodachi's secretly writing and they don't want to credit him anymore. But I doubt it, considering how much different the story has become.
Yeah. So this is the word. I'll just say every meaning. It's script, screenplay, scenario, screenwriter, playwright, scenario writer. That's all of them. So it's the screenwriter. So they have 3 credits as opposed to 2, and they just removed this 3rd credit. This is Kodachi.
Yeah, which would allude to me that like there might not be one guy.
Yeah. So I think what happened is these 2 kept their roles, Kishimoto and Ikemoto. They kept doing the roles that they were already doing. On top of that, Kodachi's role of screenwriter dissolved into both of them.
Yeah,
mostly Ikemoto.
This is what I believe.
Yeah. So they just took over the workload of Kodachi, which effectively they had 3 different roles so that they could basically just in my marketing knowledge, so they can specialize. They have specialization, and they're each unique individual role that should be different, so they can specialize in it because it's different. Now they're making it more general by applying 3 roles down to 2 different people. They no longer have specialization. They can't focus on that one thing, and it's not going to be as good. And clearly, Kishimoto is a good screenwriter already, so I think most of the workload is going to Ikemoto.
Unless it just went to, like, hypothetically, 10 different other people, and there's just so many people they didn't credit it. But I feel like they would credit them anyway. And also, speaking of credits, there's no way Kishimoto is the main, the story guy, and not giving himself credit for that. Bro, it's not going out of his way to remove his credit. He hasn't doing any of his other shit. Taking credit if he's doing it.
Yeah, I definitely don't think it's 10 other people. That almost never happens in manga. Do you think it is just the 2?
I think it was split between them, yeah. Something close to that anyway.
And
it's not that there's a ghost writer, it's that it just got split up.
Yeah. Sticking on this lines, we also have a tweet that says, Ikemoto's responsible for the Nemu. It's where the dialogue, camera angles, actions, layout are decided. From official sources, we know that Kishimoto has always provided story drafts / ideas and supervised. To say every written word is his is probably a stretch. And then he has this picture.
What he said here was part of how I informed my take that I made earlier. So the whole thing about like the story ideas, again, remember when I said that like Kishimoto was responsible for creating Kawaki? It's like,
exactly. Like he's been creating characters from the beginning.
Yeah.
Even when Kodachi wrote. Kodachi just executed them.
He also elaborates by saying Ikemoto's got more than enough experience to write himself. Plenty of mangaka do it. Kishimoto checks the Nemu and checked Kodachi's script in the past, but he generally lets Ikemoto do, I'm going to assume that means do what he wants. So note, this info dates back to early Boruto, so hopefully there will be more info in August. He also says Image shows what the Nemu was, like during the Naruto days. It's from the 2nd fanbook. So this also goes in line with the fact that the Boruto movie was Kishimoto's last real project that he wanted to be a part of, considering he started Samurai 8 afterwards anyways. It was the passing of the torch, symbolically speaking, and Kishimoto acknowledging and admitting and realizing his mistake, his literal character flaw that Naruto has of being too busy doing his job. He needs to be there more for his family. So it would be not only hypocritical, but contradicted to his own writing and ironic in real life if he just went back to Boruto full time.
Exactly. And then, speaking of that though, no matter how you slice it, this manga, especially worse if Kishimoto is doing too much of the work, is taking, the whole the anime will fix it line this manga is taking the shortcut. You know that thing that Naruto told Konohamaru, there are no shortcuts to becoming Hokage in chapter 2? And he told Obito in the final arc of the story? I doubt Kishimoto forgot the whole there are no shortcuts theme. I think someone else is doing the shortcuts.
Kodachi was fired. Naruto explains a reliable source on that. He wasn't let go. This wasn't a mutual passing of the torch that was always meant to happen from chapter 1. He said something quote-unquote disrespectful to an animator, that the animator is doing a bad job of making his series that he's passionate about better to the quality that we would like, and he got fired for it. And what do you know? Lo and behold, once the one guy saying to do better gets fired, as it was, it's just gonna be bad now, rather than changing to be good as it should have been.
I wonder who. I still don't. I would really like who the animator was. If it was a series director, who has been in the industry far longer than you, then yeah. Bye, buddy. Thanks.
Yeah, but at least take his advice after you fire him.
Like, the point is, hey, this is bad, do it better.
No. If his advice is irrational, if his advice is just, this is bad, do better, that's vapid. It's nothing.
Well, I don't know if that's what he said.
If he doesn't, if he can't understand any of the circumstances that any of them are in, and just ragged on them, just to rag on them, and had no empathy for what they were going through, and just ragged at them, then absolutely. That's just disrespectful. We don't know what he said. We don't know how he said it. For all we
can
know,
make
he could have been
implications based on his character.
malicious.
I think he's passionate about Boruto. He wrote a very solid and strong story that he cared
There's
about.
definitely something. There's definitely something called. Yeah, if you're really passionate about something, you can say something in a bad way. That is incredibly disrespectful and not particularly informative. And it just comes off as vapid. And it's vapid because of how passionate you are about the series. You let your anger get the best of you.
But again, why is he angry? There's anger there for a reason.
Yeah. There's always anger.
Yeah, I mean, I understand it doesn't justify like him being assuming he was like really mean about it. It's not justified to be a dick about it. So I get it, but like
the response
I don't know what he said.
justified.
I'm just assuming
the anger is.
Yeah.
He was justifiably angry. I don't know what the response is, so I don't know if I can justify the response. But he should have said at least something.
He was angry. I don't even know what.
Yeah, we don't know enough about what the whole deal actually was.
Yeah, which is why I never like calmed about it, because it's just like you don't know anything other than he said apparently something.
Yeah,
and they wouldn't fire him for just a animator, just one guy who's like small in the pedestal. It would have to be somebody who has been working on the Naruto franchise anime for like the 2 decades it's existed, or just a large sum of years, to where he is actually a lot more responsible for like how Naruto is perceived these days, and like even Kodachi is. So it would have to be someone major. It can't just be like a random animator.
Yeah. So we have more evidence just because we're compiling it all. We've talked about this ad nauseum already, but we're just going to talk about everything just so we can have it all in one place. So the next thing Kamui just posted in chat.
We might be repeating yourselves at this point, though.
That's fine because
I explained this one earlier, but like, just to reiterate,
we've gone through this.
This was Organic Dinosaur's translation of the original tweet from the editorial department of Naruto and Boruto, the thing that Kishimoto seemingly is the head of now. And this is in reference to Kodachi leaving, Kishimoto, taking over, whatever. And besides the whole plan thing, all it's saying is Kodachi was the scriptwriter, and now the story is going to move forward based on Kishimoto's drafts. It doesn't say Kishimoto is now the scriptwriter. They made a distinction. Scriptwriter to drafts. I don't see why they wouldn't just say he was the scriptwriter and now Kishimoto's doing. I mean, that's just fancy mumbo jumbo, but they do phrase it differently. They never say Kishimoto is going to be doing all of the story. He also, as we already pointed out, kept his editorial role somehow.
Ironically, the original drafts is literally what we have been looking forward to. It's been nothing but just the drafts is the final product.
Yeah, I mean,
Bro, really,
to some
that's
extent,
the
yeah.
thing.
I like a lot of the concept in True Blue Vortex.
Mm-hmm.
Well, exactly. And that tells you that whatever Kishimoto's doing is good, but whatever's happening in between is where some things end up being lacking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So next we have a press release tweet containing the summary of Jump Festa confirms that Masashi Kishimoto is not writing Boruto. He's simply an editorial supervisor, which I imagine means that Ikemoto submits what he's written for Kishimoto's final approval. And I don't know how to actually get there. Kamui, if you have the link, maybe. You can
It's telling you. Let me try.
Yeah, please.
You speak in such a perfect cadence. Oh, these drawings are really bad that I'm saying right here. Why would he?
Oh, maybe I took. Did I take
post this to
screenshot?
YouTube?
Okay, actually, hold on. I think I took a screenshot of this anyway, so let me just do that.
That's fine.
Just
I love the first comment. So at this point, we don't even know who the hell the writer of the series is. Question mark. A lot of upvotes. Yeah, so it's only a problem when we say it, apparently.
Yes.
Okay, go to the bottom podcast topics. I took a screenshot of one comment, and then the other one's the actual thing about Kishimoto's role.
Sure. So Masashi Kishimoto serialized the Naruto manga in Weekly Shonen Jump from 1999 to 2014. Currently, he has a serialization in V-Jump with the spin-off work Boruto Naruto Next Generations, working as the original series creator and supervising editorial director. And then the second thing here is a comment from 4 months ago by Construction Heavy. Kishimoto
I just liked the comment.
That's fine. So Kishimoto was the foundational architect of Boruto from the beginning. He wrote the plot outline and character settings. There is no doubt about this, with detailed interviews and official evidence. Our dispute is whether Kishimoto wrote the script, which is the character dialogue and specific plot. No one has proven this. Going with the Nemu thing earlier, I think it's all but absolutely publicly confirmed. Kishimoto is not the writer.
Okay. So
yeah, I'm very interested to see what
did people
they're going to say at this interview that's coming up.
Writer, if you're writing the general plot beats and you're writing the general how things go from point A to how things go from like point A to maybe like point C to like point E, like just like the general stuff, you're still like a writer. You're just not writing the script. And, like, do people only consider the writer if they're writing the script and the dialogue?
I don't see what's weird. See, this is what's weird about it though, because hypothetically, like I understand it the original way, they split up, our Ikemoto, script Kodachi, creator, blah blah blah, to Kishimoto. But hypothetically, it just split between Ikemoto and Kishimoto. I don't know why they wouldn't change it to say story by Masashi Kishimoto and Mikio Ikemoto.
Yeah.
Art by Mikio Ikemoto.
Why don't they just have?
I don't know why they wouldn't say story by in the normal sense. I don't. It is still weird.
So you know the image that I attached to my tweet. You can find that on the Naruto website. Why don't they just have that be the credit? Original story, supervision by Masashi Kishimoto, manga by. Why not just do that? Why not just have that be the credits?
Yeah. That should
be. Gonna have it
Where did you find this thing? This original story? Oh, well.
Pretty sure I found that on the Naruto website. This was... How many months ago was this? This was...
Well, yeah, but again, though, but even that is still weird. Original story and supervision.
Yeah, that implies...
It's still not just... Yeah, what is he supervising?
Stuff being edited by, like, another person, that being Ikemoto. But, like... Do people only consider, because like this is all about like what people consider writers. Do people consider writers if Do people only consider writers if they're writing the script?
I think the Nemu is the thing.
No,
to
he's
point
a
to,
writer, but he's
officially.
not the writer.
I wouldn't even say he's a writer. I would say he's the idea guy, but he doesn't write the ideas. He just comes up with stuff.
That's how it was originally, at the very least. That was always the point. He gave ideas. Kodachi executed those ideas, and Ikemoto drew those ideas.
Well, I don't think Kishimoto. I think more so just like supervised in the past. I think now he actually.
I think Kodachi, took care of a lot of the ideas for him.
I don't
think he needed to.
Yeah, I think now Kishimoto comes up with all the ideas. For the most part, most likely comes up with all the ideas, all the general plot beats, and then Ikemoto.
Well, I won't say all the ideas. He's definitely not coming up with the ideas of Ada's shorts going up to her freaking head.
But that is a drawing. That's drawing stuff. That's like character designs. Of course,
you gotta write it in order to draw it.
Well, it's not. Is it in the story that her skirt lifts up? No, I think that's just.
Well, here's how
it's definitely not in Kishimoto's story.
I think that's just Ikemoto going, yeah, boys will like this.
I think here is the best way to answer your question, Sauron, of would you consider him a writer? I would say no, because how I would imagine the conversation going between them is Kishimoto saying, okay, here's everything I want. Now write it. Thoughts?
And here's ways that you can do it.
And then what Ikemoto does is he only puts down those ideas and nothing in between. He just draws it and he's like, is that good enough? And Kishimoto's like, fine.
Kishimoto's like,
You tried.
Yeah. That's
Kishimoto's
fine.
like, you spent a month.
You're doing great, bro. It's Japan, so we're respectful. This is awesome. Perfect.
Well, I should say no, but I saw what happened to Kodachi.
He's like, I did write the war arc, so this isn't much worse.
Oh god. So Naruto explained.
No, he's probably saying, like, why were they complaining about the war arc? Mine was way better.
Amazing. Naruto Explained has a comment here. He says, so basically the Toriyama and Toyotaro dynamic. That's the people from Dragon Ball. Grooming the successor and gradually handing the reins over. He already gave him carte blanche with certain aspects of the art. Just chimes in where he wants the Nemu corrected. Sauron, did you want to read your
That was a
comment
fancy word.
I mean, I heard about the Toriyama and Toyotaro is a very weird name for me to pronounce. I cannot pronounce that name out loud. It like makes my tongue go nuts. It sounds very similar. I think Kishimoto is still writing it as he does the main ideas, concepts, basically the first drafts, and Ikemoto writes it into scripts and finalized versions of what Kishimoto wrote. That's how I see it. That's my take. And I think that makes the most sense.
Okay.
But here's the thing that people need to understand. A lot, honestly speaking, just about every single critique we've ever brought up has related to, I hate to say it, but what Ikemoto's role likely would be. Because when you say things like, I forgot my example of the time, but like,
Oodie, can you,
for example, in chapter 79 when they have
I can see Oodie's DMs on screen.
Where?
Oh, whatever.
What?
It's on Twitter. I was able to see you have the message boxes open.
Oh, that. Oh,
It's
this?
not-
No,
it's
this
not
is
a
just
big
showing
deal.
chat. If that's this,
No, on Twitter.
I don't get it. I'll have to go back on stream to see. It's hilarious though.
It's
Anyway,
fine.
when we say like there could be like a panel like showing this or a panel showing that to help convey emotion, these things, they sound like writing executions, but it's really the guy who does the paneling. That's Ikemoto. And then when it comes to the goofy ass script, you're saying, oh, you don't want Hidari to rot versus I see. So it's this informant who's the truly dangerous one. The point is Jura leaves, but that dialogue is what makes or breaks it. That essentially is the execution here. And so we're not hating on whatever Kishimoto's doing, because from the looks of it, everything he's doing is good.
I see.
I hate to put all the blame on Ikemoto, like that the kind of is who it is that we're actually like critiquing for the most part.
Like the reason why you would hear the Kishimoto isms within the story is because he is writing something. He's just not writing the execution of stuff.
Yeah. So again, it's not all the ideas.
But that part is a lot more important than people are acting like it is.
Yeah. It's not the concept, it's the execution. And you know this is true because we love the Minato manga because it feels like Kishimoto. What we have in Boruto doesn't feel like Kishimoto, and no one can use the excuse of, oh, it's a different story, it's supposed to feel different, because the Minato manga is a different story. It's different as well, but despite it being different, it still feels like it was written by Kishimoto. Samurai 8 feels like it was written by Kishimoto. It's a completely different franchise. So yeah.
And that's how you know that like there's something missing. And that's why when we got that Twitter argument with that guy who was trying to like call us out to Naruto explain,
weird,
fucking a dick shit. But I'm like, you're not getting. I'm like, what do you like? He goes like, oh, what do you mean you can't see all these Kishimoto things? I'm like, yeah, why don't you point them out to me? Point out how Two Blue Vortex is doing the same shit that Minato manga did. Show me. You're not gonna be able to, bro. Humor isn't just like purely Kishimoto. He's the only guy who does comedy, bro. And there's barely any humor in the manga anyway. So you can't even use that.
Is there any
more? I wish
more?
there was more humor in the manga.
Not only that, I found this out, and it actually makes sense. Kishimoto's sexy jutsu is meant to make fun. It's satire on fan service. You know, like showing boobs and shit. That's why it's a male kid doing the jutsu.
To find that out. I think that's just true.
No, but I never like thought about it. And I just happened to see. I was like, oh, that makes perfect sense. And yet, what do you have in Boruto?
Like
normal fan service with Ada skirt.
Because if you think
about
it,
pants.
There actually isn't much fan service in the original Naruto manga. The most you get is one-offs from Inu, but like those are like just commenting on the fact that she's developed and they make a slight joke and remark about it, and that's about it. Most of the fan service is Tsunade and
sexy
her existing is just fan service because she's got some big badong bosoms.
Yeah. And so again, the way this plays out, Kodachi was writing the story up till chapter like 55 or so. After that, Kishimoto took over. It's not like it was a brand new story from that moment forward. Obviously, when you're writing something, you're going to be more than 0 months ahead. He wasn't just start the idea of the next chapter the moment he finishes a current chapter. He's probably like working a year or more ahead, if I had to guess. And so most of the problems...
You might be pushing it.
Well, sure. At least a couple chapters. He probably... I mean, bro helped out with the flash forwards, and he probably had an idea of at least the rest of the story, broadly speaking, just generally. So I think at the very least for the next couple chapters, and it would make sense, Kishimoto coming in out of nowhere, 55 chapters into a random manga that he didn't write, yeah, he's probably not going to just start over from his own ideas. He's probably going to go with Kodachi's original drafts for the most part, for at least a little bit, until he can get his bearings underneath them. So I think most of the Code arc was written by Kodachi, with just a few of the problems starting because that's when it was transitioning to Kishimoto's ideas as well. The Prophecy arc and onwards is where it really starts to hit home, especially in the second half. And it's been problems since then.
I think like the first maybe 4 chapters, because I don't believe that these guys are like a year ahead. I think they're maybe 5 months. So like the first 5 chapters, I definitely think would be like a lot of like what Ukyo Kodachi had written, and maybe a few tweaks here and there. I think a lot of that would have been Ukyo Kodachi stuff.
Well, I think it tapers
Beyond
out.
That, I think it would have shifted a lot into like Ikemoto and Kishimoto's ideas and writing.
Yeah, I think he has the
And
next
it would
at
have slowly
least
tapered out, yeah.
exactly. So like he has like maybe say 3 chapters fully written out already. He's completely 100% done. The 4th and 5th chapter, maybe they're like 80% done. There's a couple things he would just adjust over time. And like chapters like 5 through 10 is maybe like 30% done, but he has like the idea, he knows the direction he wants to go in. Beyond that, maybe it's like 5% done. He just knows the general idea of where he wants to take the story into in the next couple arcs.
I agree. And a lot of people seem to both think this. I know some people have the theories. I don't think that Kodachi was actually going to kill Naruto. Some people think that the reason why he was removed is
No,
because
because he wrote the
he was going to
flash
kill
forward speed.
Naruto. I was like, no, I don't think Naruto was never going to die, ever. Kodachi wasn't gonna do that. I think.
I mean,
that's not why he
regardless
was
of
removed.
ever, he wasn't gonna. He was gonna
Not then.
have Kawaki do something because of the flash
Yeah.
forward scene.
I mean, I love the idea though. Even if it's a misconception.
I don't like the idea of Naruto dying in the Ishiki thing. I do think Kawaki doing the thing could have been more interesting.
I like
I mean,
him
it's what
dying
was
there.
foreshadowed at the very least.
I think it
But
would.
regardless of that, I don't think Kodachi
Either
wrote,
way works.
but I don't think Kodachi's prophecy is like Ada nonsense.
Yeah, because it doesn't make sense. I'll let you elaborate on that because you're the one that really thought about it. Kamui.
Y'all have talked about that a lot.
Well, yeah, we've talked about it a million
for
times.
this
but,
clip, this one clip that has everything, we're including everything.
Yeah, and so like the first thing to note is, I mean, it was when Ada and Damon got created in the Code arc, everyone was saying it was public. Kishimoto created these characters, and this was after Kodachi got fired. So Ada and Damon didn't even exist as characters when the prophecy was made. And they weren't Kodachi's characters either. So no, it was never his plan to have Ada cause the prophecy. And that also would help explain the disparity between Momoshiki and Japanese saying, those blue eyes right in front of me are going to take everything from you. Meanwhile, the blue eyes have nothing to do with it. And the weird part is it's almost like Ikemoto or Kishimoto or whoever was trying to integrate the blue eyes by Momoshiki saying, well, boy, you've lost one blue eye, even though it makes no sense. With the prophecy, it's like they were trying to do it, but it doesn't make sense. And that's because, well, they wanted to do one thing that clearly wasn't what Kodachi wrote. Kodachi probably didn't write the end of the prophecy, so they don't even know what he was going to do. So they just made up something and went with it.
Obviously, blue eyes are like a naive thing. What does it matter if Boruto loses one specifically blue eye to Momoshiki if that has nothing to do with the prophecy? Sure, maybe it's just like one of the things that lead up to Ada's omnipotence, but that has nothing to do with the prophecy, in my opinion. And then also, again, at the end of the movie,
it doesn't even lead up to have to do with it.
But even
it's just
more
a coincidence.
Even more so, directly after Momoshiki's prophecy, we have Sarada at the end of the arc commenting on how blue Boruto's eyes are. What's the point of that scene now?
She does it not even just then. She also does it before then during the shooting exams. She says your eyes are bluer than Lord Seven's. As well. So there's 3 times. And then in the Ishiki arc, after the Boru fight, Momoshiki calls him his dear blue-eyed boy. The blue eyes reference came up again and again and again and again. There's no point to it if it's just Ada does omnipotence.
Funny enough, we've never even been
don't make any sense.
We still don't have the confirmation of Ada's eye color in the manga. They've never said Ada's eye color like Boruto. They've said it 4 times. You could say the cover page. Oh yeah, the cover page that uses random colors every page, every chapter. It's in the manga. It's a black and white manga. They've never confirmed officially Ada's eye color in the manga. We're not going to use the anime because they're guessing as well. Look at what happened with Dragon Ball and Vegeta's hair.
I'm fine with this. I'm personally fine with assuming she has blue eyes.
That's fine.
But that's not what the prophecy and the foreshadowing was saying.
But if she does, they're not focused on, is my point. Unlike Boruto's.
Yeah.
My take is that I do think Kodachi and Damon Kodachi did create Ada and Damon. I don't think Ada was going to be originally involved in the prophecy though. I do think that he did.
Then you disagree with the public message that was public that Kishimoto created.
And Twitter would hate you because they would never lie, despite lying about the 4 episodes that we never got.
Wait, it said that Kishimoto created Ada and Damon?
When they were created, that was I remember that. All over the place, they kept saying Kishimoto created these characters. It was the start of the code arc and blah blah blah.
The public
they kept
PR,
saying how they were Kishimoto's creators.
Public PR that they hype up. That is what they say.
Okay, I don't recall that, but maybe I don't know, because I already said the take before that I do believe that a lot of the stuff in the first like 5 or so chapters of True Blue Vortex of the stuff that would come after chapter 52 would be part of Okio Kodachi's work. I think Ada and Damon were going to play a role in the story. I do think he's partly responsible for creating those characters. I just don't think that I don't think Ada was going to be the one to create the quote-unquote prophecy.
Yeah, well, honestly, though, Kodachi might not have planned anything with them. Like, he probably planned everything with Code and the White Karma Seal and Kawaki in that arc. But Kishimoto could have come up with the Ada and Damon integration.
I would like confirmation to see what exactly did Momoshiki even see? Because he said he couldn't see his own future. So, but he could see Boruto's future. What exactly did he see?
Yeah.
Because clearly, as we've
been
led to believe,
we saw in chapter 75,
because of the recent stuff that's happened in the manga right now, we've seemingly defied whatever Momoshiki's prophecy was.
Yeah.
And that's even further confirmed by like what Kashin Koji saying. So Momoshiki saw something that they defied.
Yeah, like the first time he sees Boruto's fate,
I would like to know what Momoshiki saw. We still don't know what he saw.
The first time he sees Boruto's fate before giving him the prophecy, he's like, "My eyes can see your fate clear, boy. It's a shame, Fox, that you couldn't pass on your power to the next generation." With the story we got, Boruto's prophecy wouldn't have been prevented if Boruto just had more power. It's not that Boruto couldn't stop it at the time. He wasn't directly fighting Kawaki or anything. Momoshiki took over, let Kawaki get free. Boruto didn't know where he was. Then Ada just came around and did it. Boruto being OP isn't going to change that.
So I do think I no longer think that the whole Kawaki being in Karma 2 is like a mistake now. I do think that is what was originally meant to happen. Something happened that made it so Kawaki didn't do that in this version of the timeline. I do think that is something that Momoshiki did see. And then even some of the dialogue is different with like even some of the dialogue that like you hear within the freaking chapter is different. So Momoshiki saw something that just didn't happen in the particular way that he saw, which is why he would be so angry. And I think maybe his anger would be so frustrated because like Boruto didn't do anything other than just saying, "Nah, man." So it's like, why didn't things go my way? Like things just went wrong for some reason, and he doesn't know why, which could then lead to his frustration, because he doesn't know what went wrong.
So
because it's very simple things changed that ended up changing the outcome of this timeline.
Exactly. I will say, going back to the Ada thing, so I agree with both of you. I think that Kodachi created the concept for the character, and Kishimoto tweaked it or added on top of it. For example, I think that Kishimoto is the one who gave Ada her crush on Kawaki. I think Kodachi never had the idea to have Ada love Kawaki. I think that's something Kishimoto added on top of. And on top of adding on top of that, he also added Ada's crude humor and hilarity with her blushing about Kawaki and all those moments. That is like Kishimoto humor.
That's definitely not Kodachi.
Yeah. So I think he tweaked it a little bit, just added one thing and slapped his name on top of it. Whether it was him or whether it was the PR team to generate the hype that Kishimoto's the one that created it. Check out Kishimoto's creation. He's the one writing the story now. It's gonna be so much better, guys. Read Boruto.
Yeah. But like because of the recent chapter, I am now I kind of was like, Momoshiki, I think you're a bum. After the recent chapter, I'm like, I still think you're a bum, but I'm interested to like see you again. Actually, um, there's more I would like to know about what exactly Momoshiki saw. Um,
Something wrong.
I would like to know
So
because
long.
clearly something went wrong, and he doesn't even know what went wrong. And now it actually maybe seems a little intentional. Whereas before I was just like, this just seems so silly. Like, what the hell is actually happening here?
I mean, but with
We'll
that
see.
in mind, though, are you okay with just getting like the answer that something went wrong, or that basically what we're getting now after the time skip? Because
No.
to some extent, I feel like you need to have that at least more addressed in part one still.
Again, it's not going to fix my problem with the ending of part one.
Yeah.
It's not. But it might. It's still always going to be a sour taste in my mouth. But it might make it less
sour.
Less sour. Yeah, it's still sour, but less sour. I'm more interested in the whole Momoshiki thing now than I was before, where I was just like, this just seems so stupid. Now I'm like, it's still kind of dumb, but like it's semi-fixable.
Well, there's another problem with it though, is hypothetically, Momoshiki may have the ability to see one future, but unlike Koji, he can't see all futures. So he's
Yeah.
just, but that essentially makes the ability and the destiny useless because it's just a shot in the dark. Like it's not destined to happen. It's one of 800 billion possibilities.
Yeah, but like
It's so it's not destiny. Boruto
Yeah.
isn't defying destiny. Naruto's not defying
But
his
he
destiny
said that
for
he
him.
saw
It's
his
just
future
Momoshiki
clearly.
had a guess and it was wrong.
It's like,
Yeah,
why would it be
the future
clearly
that
if it
he
wasn't
could
the
see.
one that was going to happen?
I'm sure that he thought that this was the one. Because does he
But no,
think?
but like from the
Wait, hold
story
on.
perspective though.
If Momoshiki, hold on. If Momoshiki knows that they're all Shinjutsu, I know
Yeah,
he
don't
can't.
worry. I have
He
a whole
can't.
segment with
He
this.
can't perform all Shinjutsu, but he knows of it. He should
No,
know
it's more than that. He has an intimate understanding of all
exactly.
these Shinjutsu too,
So,
which means
although
he knows about 10 directions.
yeah, exactly. He should be able to know that there was always a possibility that the future that he is saying was not going to come to pass.
Not only just a
I don't know.
possibility, based on Koji's understanding, I'm going to assume that Momoshiki understands it even better than Koji. The way Koji explains it, basically, at any choice, action, or decision, a new timeline branches off. We are early in the timeline. Why is Momoshiki so confident that the thousands upon millions of decisions Momoshiki knows Boruto will have to confront over the course of time won't change the prophecy before he even gets to the prophecy in the first place?
Yeah, it's
And
silly,
and
but
this is I'm
I
gonna say right
am
now,
interested in it.
they didn't have 10 directions in mind at the end of part one. I'm confident that. They came up with this after the fact, and there's more reasons for it too. Because coming back to Kashin Koji, the whole honestly, this chapter just lied to us. Like what it says about how he believed his role was done when he dragged out Jigen, and he was fine. He was just dying. He didn't care, and he just was accepting death and blah blah blah. That's not true. Go back and reread the fight. He believed he was supposed to kill Ishiki too, not just Jigen. Ishiki told him, your role was just to drag me out of Jigen. You're not supposed to get past this. And Kochi said, like, basically, you're just trying to distract me, aren't you? It's not gonna work. I still have more to do. He didn't believe what Ishiki was saying. But now he's basically saying, yeah, I agree with everything Ishiki was saying. Which, no, you were trying to defy that.
Yeah.
You didn't want to believe that he was right. This is not what you were doing in the original version. It's
Also,
literally a lie.
Consider this. The other possibilities for the future were seemingly almost just as likely, or at least the fact that they could happen at all. So, assuming we go with a timeline that Ishiki won, once again, this isn't because of Boruto or anything. Boruto's not the one making a decision or choice here. They don't even get to the prophecy. for the prophecy to succeed or fail in the first place? Why is Momoshiki so confident?
And that's a good point.
If he's confident it's going to happen, he's confident it's going to succeed. Why does he even think it's going to happen in the first place? It's one of like a million possibilities. Why does he even think this is the branch timeline that is going to happen?
But not only that, he literally says after they beat, I can't believe you actually managed to defeat Ishiki. But that's awesome. Now you're the elitist as is left. He literally thought they were going to lose.
Oh my
How is this prophecy ever going to work?
Yeah, no. That is actually something I've thought about that in the past, and you've just like reminded me. How does that? If he thought that they were going to lose, what was his plan? What was he gonna do? Was he gonna be like, "Oh, Ishiki, after you revived in Kawaki's body, what up, bro?"
I mean, if his prophecy
Wait,
that
what
he's
was his
so
plan?
gung
Wait,
ho
hold
about,
on.
I'm thinking his plan was that Ishiki was gonna die, and then he was gonna just take Kawaki when everyone else was dead.
But wait, but there's the thing though. So let's just assume Momoshiki thinks he has permanent
But the
control
prophecy
over
never
Boruto.
happens.
Exactly. Him feeding Kawaki to the Tin Tails means that Ada can never use omnipotence, going with your interpretation. He is actively destroying the possibility of his prophecy by feeding Kawaki to the Tin Tails. Like,
Wait, hold on.
And then he
hold
acts
on,
like he was expecting this
that's
all along.
true. If he just feeds Kawaki to the Ten Tails, then he just like
Messes up the prophecy.
Wait, then the
Kawaki's in
prophecy
it.
doesn't. Wait, then the prophecy doesn't even matter anymore. You got what you wanted. You achieved what you wanted. Why are you so gung ho on torturing Boruto with this prophecy if you can just circumvent that and get what you want anyways?
Yeah, like the
hell?
point. The
You know
point of the
what?
prophecy.
That's because guess who was not writing the script by chapter 54? Oh, I'll give you a hint. Starts with the letter K.
Wait,
and it doesn't rhyme with Kishimoto.
Wait, why did my lights just turn off? That was weird.
No, because the light just went on in your head. Just to connect the dots there, to put 2 and 2 together. The point of Momoshiki relying on the prophecy is so that Momoshiki can just take over Boruto. Momoshiki can take over Boruto.
Which he can just do anyway in chapter 6.
Well, he can do it anyways. But, like, why is he going for that later point in the timeline when he could just take over Boruto at an earlier point in the timeline? Rather than having his prophecy being Ada's omnipotence, his prophecy should have just been feeding Kawaki to the Tin Tails after the Ishiki fight.
Yeah, because in that case, like, oh, wait, okay, so I wonder if the whole thing is like those blue eyes. Yeah, me in control of you will take everything away from you. So I kill Kawaki and I kill everybody on this planet. I have blue eyes. I have a blue eye and a Byakugan, but you get the general idea.
I mean,
I took everything away from you.
There needs to be more than just that if it's going to be good, because that's pretty mid, to be honest. I think it's a lot better if Boruto has some element of like he did something in there. Like, I mean, we don't need to go through them all right now, but Oodie and I, at least on several podcasts, proposed one of like 100 billion ways they could have done it.
We presented every possible future.
Boruto himself needs to do something himself so that Momoshiki can actually say, like, you did this, not just me. It wasn't all me. You did something. So, for example, if Momoshiki releases control for a moment and then Boruto himself actually kills someone, or Boruto willingly lets Momoshiki take over to, let's say, beat code, but then Momoshiki kills someone or whatever the hell. The point is, Boruto has to make a mistake or do something so Momoshiki can actually be like, you did it, bro, not me.
Even
for this prophecy to actually have some real impact.
Actively fighting Kawaki can be the perfect conduit to that too.
He's feeding Kawaki to the Ten Tails, but the point is, it should just be related to what he was trying to do. Like
some mistake or character flaw that he has, and it needs to be brought into being by a physical manifestation of that thing, a byproduct of it, such as rage or fury. What's the perfect opportunity to do that? When he's fighting Kawaki on top of the Hokage Stone Monument, which, surprise, surprise, that's where the flash forward scene happens anyways. What a perfect location and opportunity of fighting the person he's fighting in the future at that same location to do that. Man, almost like Naruto and Sasuke, who had the final fight at the Valley of the End, and then wow, part 2, Sasuke and Naruto, final fight, Valley of the End. Where the big thing happens.
But no, instead they're gonna have a 3-page fight where Kawaki's just beating him up, and then it gets cut off.
Yeah, and then Kawaki, by himself elsewhere, with no regards to Boruto, accidentally activates omnipotence or randomly somewhere in a forest.
Of which Boruto doesn't overcome. You know, and that's another thing. You know, honestly, getting back to the end of part 1 here, say what you want. If you want to say the final battle is against the prophecy, first of all, there's no despair moment. There's blah, 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 all that stuff. But Boruto doesn't overcome the prophecy. Sarada/Sasuke do it for him. Boruto didn't do anything. He just got bailed out. So imagine if in the Pain arc, no, fuck it, in the end of Naruto, or end of Naruto part 1, Kakashi just comes and saves Sasuke, brings him back, or at the end of all of Naruto, Kakashi just comes in and beats Sasuke for Naruto. Like, no, you don't do that. You let Naruto do it. Yeah. Or Naruto fails and he has to grow from it. You know, you can't just bail him out at the end.
Let's remember this is a prophecy. So regardless of those blue eyes will take anything from you, you can ignore that. From my understanding of what a prophecy is, it's about someone doing something rather than something just so happening to happen to that person. So Boruto has to be the one to do it. If anything, this is Kawaki's prophecy, not Boruto's prophecy. And better yet, it's Ada's prophecy. Ada's the one who has the blue eyes that will take something away from Boruto. That's not Boruto's prophecy, that's Ada's. Yeah, he's prophesized to take something away from Boruto. It's not that Boruto's prophesized to have something taken away from Ada, because he's not the one doing anything. At that point, that's just a general prophecy of something that'll happen, rather than a prophecy relating to specifically an individual.
It definitely is bizarre, but I do feel like at this point, Start is meant to be like very integral to Boruto at this point. So I think they're gonna build that. So I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. The whole prophecy thing, it is a bizarre mess. It's weird. I don't know.
Absolutely.